Hey, Schmack-a-Magob, we're back with Will Carroll.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we're in the thick of it, talking about Voivod. Last night, we talked about the first half, and now we're going into the second half. And they still got Eric Forrest in the band with Phobos. And I saw this tour, and we hung out. Funny story, we hung out with Eric outside in the parking lot. They played this little tiny club called Club Q. Not a lot of people were there. And Eric hung out with us all night smoking weed, listening to Merciful Fate. Turned out,
Yeah,
turned out he's a huge Merciful Fate fan. Cool ass dude. But man, this album, I think this album's like really like nobody talks about Phobos.
no, you're right.
And I love it. I love Rise. I love Mercury on this album. And
hmm
Forum, and
The title track, the
title
title track is killer fucking too, man. Um,
amazing album. I love Phobos a lot, man.
and did you know, like this is part two to mention Hatros, like story wise, like it's the continuation. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, the lyrics continue on with the character from that album, so that's really fucking cool. But yeah, when this album came out, it was at the peak of my acid taking. So I used to take acid with my friends, like the guys in Old Grandad and our friends, and listen to this album like religiously. Like, so I know it forwards and backwards. I love it, dude. It's a great album to go to sleep to. And I mean that as a total compliment. It has like a dreamy, like trippy vibe that's really relaxing, even though it's super aggressive and harsh. It has a weird, relaxing overtone or undertone, I should say. But I do love this album. I love the production. They used all vintage gear to record this album. It's the exact opposite of Negatron. Negatron sounds very mechanical and super digital, and advanced. And Phobos is total. It sounds dusty, It sounds like a '70s production.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's really cool, especially the drums, dude. They sound really natural and a lot of tone. Yeah, this album is fucking fantastic. I saw them on this tour as well. They were supporting Neurosis, I think. Yeah. They were supporting Neurosis, and Neurosis was touring for Through Silver and Blood, maybe, but or maybe Times of Grace. Anyways, and this was after Voivod got into that accident, and Eric Forrest like fucked his back up. Remember when that happened?
Yeah, I
And he
heard.
was like, and he performed like in a stand up stretcher.
Oh,
Like
wow.
yeah, dude, it was wild, man. And his voice sounded exactly the same. He played the bass, but he just didn't move. He was strapped in, but or maybe like they let him out, like they put him up and he could walk a few steps and he sang, but he just didn't move at all for the whole show. But he belted it out and it was killer, dude. I was Everyone was cheering for him because you could tell he was in pain or like or discomfort, and he still performed and kicked ass, dude. It was great, fucking killer,
That's awesome.
totally. Yeah, yeah,
All right, then we go to that's it for that. Then we got Snake is back and it's Voivod with Jay Sonic. Uh, I think this one it doesn't. I don't like it much. It doesn't keep me interested. I feel like the songs don't keep me interested. They're just kind of there.
hmm
And I'm talking about it's called Voivod, right? It's just self-titled
right.
Voivod. And yeah, this is the first Voivod album. I was kind of like, eh. And I did listen to it again before doing this episode, and it does nothing for me. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Before we get into that, though, I do want to do an honorable mention to it's they call it an EP, but it's as long as any Voivod album. There was a release between Phobos and the self-titled called Chronic. Are you familiar with that? It
What
has like
wasn't
what's
that?
that?
Wasn't that one that they redid some songs? No.
Yeah, there's like remixes of three songs from Phobos that are pretty killer, I think, and three or four unreleased tracks, one from the Phobos sessions and one from the Negatron sessions. One of the songs is featured on Heavy Metal 2, the movie Heavy Metal 2. You hear it in one scene. Then there's a bunch of live stuff, but it's a really cool fucking release, man. You can't call it an album. I guess like a compilation album, but it's really killer if you're not familiar with it. And I highly recommend it to anyone to check out Chronic. I love that fucking release. So killer. Now the
Well,
self-titled album is the only Voivod album I can say flat out that I'm not a fan of. I don't like, and I never listened to it, man. I remember Jason Newstead was on the local radio station here, the local rock radio station, 107.7 The Bone. And excuse me, I have to say it like they say it, 107.7 The Bone. In a total that total douchey radio voice. Anyways, he was on a Friday night. He was on air with our local DJ, and he was talking about Voivod and the new album. And I was like, holy shit, I can't believe like on a major radio station they were talking about Voivod, and he played like 5 songs from the album, and I was shocked. I was like, oh man, dude, like these songs are yeah, they're just flat. They don't do anything for me. Like they're not interesting or something, Like it doesn't reach Voivod standards, I can't really pinpoint why. I don't like the production on the album. It's too dry. The vocals are too like upfront, and um yeah, man. Like the only song on that album that sparks interest is the multiverse. That song is pretty good, considering the rest of the songs. But yeah, man, that album's just kind of boring. I'm not into it.
yeah, and quite honestly, I think the next one at Kators didn't do much for me either. I mean, this one you liked more?
I do like it more. I do like it more. I love the first song. What's the first song called? It's been a long time since I've heard this album, but what's the opening track? Do you
I
know?
I don't know.
Ah, fuck. It's a good song. Anyways, that album's a little heavier. The production's a little dirtier, and it's a step in the right direction, but I still wouldn't put that up to par with any of the previous Voivod albums with Snake and Eric Forrester, like Eric Forrest. No way. But it's better. It's better.
I thought Infinity was a little better. Uh,
Definitely.
yeah, that one I thought was for me was a step in the right direction. I mean, I can't say I loved it or anything, but listening to today, I was like, yeah, it seems like they're getting back to their groove. Not quite there,
Yeah.
but they're getting there. And yeah, it's a decent album. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, it's the best of the three with Jason Newsted for sure. The last song is pretty classic Voivod, Volcano. That song fucking rules, man. I'd love to see that live. Um, yeah, I guess it should be fair to mention that Piggy was already dead, or already passed away by the time this album came out, and maybe even Kators, right? I think he recorded the self-titled album from the hospital, right? Or no, he was still in the band. I saw them like 3 times on that tour. Excuse me, but Kators, my cat just scared the shit out of me. Well, on Kators, that's when he was sick, I believe, and that's all recorded from his hospital bed. So like you gotta give him props for that. That's hard to put together an album, from a hospital bed. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to mention that. That's there maybe a reason why these albums aren't quite as up to par with albums where he was healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
sad.
but the next one, Target Earth, I thought was more of an improvement.
Killer album, dude. I love this album. It's in my top 10.
Yeah, it's got the great Voivod twist that I think was missing, and
Hmm.
it sounds different, but it still has that Voivod vibe on it. That
Hmm.
that seriously, I love this album. To me, this was a great comeback for them. Jason,
Totally.
Jason's not on it. It's Blackie, right?
Blackie.
Yeah,
And
Blackie.
it's the first album with Chewie on bass. Yeah, excuse me, on guitar. I'm stoned. Chewie on guitar. And dude, he's just a continuation of Piggy, man. He's a brilliant guitarist, and he knows how to play in the Voivod style, and it's incredible, man. Like that's a huge that was a huge hurdle for the band. Like how do you replace Piggy? That's like the main sound of Voivod is gone. So that's crazy. But yeah, Chewie does a great fucking job. I love this album. I love the song Mechanical Mind. That's one of my favorite Voivod songs ever. And that song has every era of Voivod in one fucking song, dude. It's a wild ride, man. And I've talked to Chewie about that song many times, and he's like, yeah, that's what his goal was to have like every era represented, like the Eric Forrest era. There's parts of that song that sound like '90s Voivod, and obviously the early shit. So, and a lot of that song sounds like something you hear on Nothing Face. They don't really like revisit that album musically at all on any of their, like, that's the only album of their catalog that sounds like that. Nothing Face, you know what I mean? It's very specific sound. So it's cool that Mechanical Mind has a part in that on that song that just reminds me of Nothing Face totally. I'm rambling because I'm stoned as fuck. Sorry.
But it's in, yeah. Well, we both agree. Target Earth rules.
Yeah.
I liked Post Society a little bit more. I thought this one was, especially that title track, and there's some classic moments on here, man. And I think it's a continuation of Target Earth, but I think it's a little better. What do you think?
I think I like Target Earth a little bit more, but I do love this album. But for some reason, it took me a long time to really appreciate it, like almost like a year. I had it for a year before I really got into it. And I saw him live on this tour, and that definitely sold me on the record. So yeah, I think it's killer, man. But it's probably my least favorite of the three with Chewie, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I dig it. Well, the next one's called Awake. This one I heard and I loved it. I did have to revisit it a couple times, but I think it's awesome. I love Obsolete Beings on this.
totally.
Some tracks are a bit out there for me, like the end of Dormancy. Do we need the horns? Really?
Right.
But tracks like I Conspiracy make up for it.
Totally.
It's got some great moments. I dig The Wake. What'd you think?
Actually, this is the one that's my least favorite of the Chewie albums. What was the one we were talking about right before?
It was Post Society.
Post Society. Oh, that's an EP. Oh yeah. That's okay. I mean, it's got a cool cover of Hawkwind's Silver Machine. That's pretty rocking. Yeah, Post Society is cool. I thought you were talking about the Wake. It's an EP though, so I don't really consider it, but it's cool. Yeah, but the Wake, yeah, this one's my least favorite with Chewie. I still think it's awesome. Definitely a little bit more psychedelic than Target Earth, and Target Earth's a little bit more thrashy, I thought, and I like the production a little bit more. But it's cool. It's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and then we're ready at the end with Synchro Anarchy, and my God, to me the title track is so awesome on this album, and
Totally.
Sleeves Off is another killer track that they did play. Well, they played the title track as well when I saw them, and Holographic Thinking.
That's my favorite song on the album, dude. Like, they played that?
Yep.
Really?
They played
That's killer, man.
an album. And to me, there's like Voivod is back where I want them to be.
Totally, dude. Totally.
I think it's
a crazy album.
Yeah,
like it's really busy. Has a lot of Nothing Face flavor at times, and it's a wild album. It's the most adventurous album they put out since Chewie's joined the band, I think, and I fucking dig it, man. I was so stoked to find this on vinyl in Europe on the last European tour. Yeah, man, I was super stoked. Yeah, I love it. Killer album.
Yeah, I ordered it. I pre-ordered that when I saw the video.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is Voivod. It really gave me that spin back, man. And yeah, man, I'm glad they came down for the tour down here because not a lot.
Yeah.
So, and it was a Wednesday night, but still, it wasn't the worst. I mean, there was quite a few people at this one. It wasn't that empty, which was.
This was in Miami, you're saying? Yeah.
No, they played the same place you played last time you were here in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay, right.
Revolution.
Yeah.
Same place.
Yep. I remember that place.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Cool. Yeah, it wasn't empty. And for a Wednesday night, they did really well.
Cool.
And a lot of my old school friends were there. And all of the people I hated, the Angel Rat, they loved the new album.
Right on.
So yeah, man.
uh,
So yeah, this was fun, but you got a little time to spare. Will it's just bullshit about whatever for a little
oh
bit.
yeah, totally, man. Totally.
So talk about the tour you just did now. I mean, was it just in the States?
It was Canada too. We did like 3 shows in Canada. Yeah, yeah. It was incredible, man. It was Creator, Sepultura, Death Angel, and Spirit World. Spirit World is a pretty cool band from Nevada, from Las Vegas. And you ever heard of this band?
No.
They mix like Western, like Wild Wild West type of vibe with horror, and their music sounds like a mixture of like Slayer and Guar, kind of. And they have like death metal vocals here or there. But they dress up in Western garb with like big brim hats, and it's a very unusual marriage of a bunch of ideas, but they make it work. They're pretty cool, man. I suggest you check them out. They're pretty cool. And then we played second every night, and then Creator and Sepultura rotated who played last every night. And it was amazing. Almost every show was sold out, and we were playing pretty big size places. All the bands got along, no egos or anything like that. And really easy tour, man. It was cool. Hella fun.
Nice, man. And now you're going to Europe with Sacred Reich. And
Sacred Reich.
anybody else on that bill?
There's an opening band that I've never heard of, and their name has like 3 X's or 4 X's in it. Like I don't know how to pronounce it. I can't remember it. It's a band I never heard of. They're a European band, up and coming band, and I don't. I don't know.
They
I
wouldn't
should know this, you know. I'm
they
sorry, but
they wouldn't happen to be called Experior, are they? Experior.
I have no idea. I can't remember. It's an easy name to forget.
No,
Look it up.
there's a German. There's a German band.
Someone out there, you tell me.
Yeah.
What?
There's a German band out there called Experior where the guy hit me up to sing a song on one. He had like, I think he had Caton from Hyrax and the guy from Warbringer. Like he had. It's an album with guest singers all throughout it. And
Right.
Experior from Germany, and I did a song called Thrash Insanity. He wrote the lyrics and everything sent to me. It was really cool. Cool track. And
have you heard the rest of the album? Like with
he
Caitlin and everybody?
He sent me the CD. It's all thrash.
Yeah.
It's all
Cool.
thrash stuff with different singers. But some good stuff, man.
Well, I'll be surprised if the opening band for that tour has Caton and John from Warbringer, and you.
Well,
Maybe
that'd
you're
be
not telling me something.
I would love to tour Europe again, man. That would be the shit, man.
Yeah.
So what do you got coming up? You're gonna go see Overkill on Thursday?
I'm going to see Overkill this coming Thursday at the Great American Music Hall with Exhorder and Heathen. Yeah. And that should be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And like September, like I said, Death Angel are playing we're playing the Philippines and Japan with Testament and Exodus. I think those are going to be the 2 final Bay Strikes Back tours, the Bay Strikes Back shows. And then we're doing that festival in Virginia, and yeah, so we're staying pretty busy for the rest of the year. And Old Granddad's got that show, and I have something else. I got a couple of gigs with ACDZ with Zetro. We haven't played in a while, so that's cool that we're doing that again. And I'm DJing like a motherfucker. I'm DJing all kinds of shows coming up at the DNA Lounge and other places. So yeah, I'm fucking staying busy.
Right on. I'm gonna go see Havoc and Toxic Holocaust in a couple weeks.
Dude, they're playing the same night as Overkill in Berkeley.
Oh,
Oh man, that hurts, dude. Damn.
is it playing Berkeley, the same area?
Yeah, I mean Berkeley is the Bay Area, and San Francisco, like Berkeley and San Francisco, is like a 20-minute drive from each other. It's like it's close enough, you know. Yeah, so a lot of people are going to be divided. I think I think both shows are gonna suffer. Yeah, so that's a trip. But yeah, it's cool. You're going to see him tomorrow night?
No, no, in a couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
And I'm seeing him at this place called Gramps. And now that I'm getting old, I love this place because at 11 p.m. you have to shut it down because it turns into a disco. So
Uh-huh.
shows end at 11, so I can get home before midnight.
What's it called?
It's called Gramps. The place is called Gramps.
Like
And
Grandpa? Gramps?
yeah, yeah. And I
Okay.
see a shitload of shows there. And it ends. I just saw Vader there. And
Wow.
yeah, it ends at 11. And Vader and Christian. You know Christian, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that show. I DJ'd that show
Oh, yeah?
in San Francisco like 2 months ago, or that was a while ago. It was before I went on tour. That was a
Yeah,
long tour, I guess. Damn.
yeah, yeah. But I love it because, back in the day, dude, I mean, I wouldn't mind you. You go to club shows, the headliner starts at 1 a.m. You don't
Right.
get until like 3 or 4 in the morning. But now it's like, now that I'm older, man, it's like I like coming home before midnight, you
Me
know?
too. I'm right there with you.
So
Totally.
yeah, dude. So yeah, I'm happy that you're back, and I want you on my channel a shitload of time before you go back to tour.
Definitely.
Uh,
Definitely.
because a lot of people love Will Carroll. Everybody always comments, we love when Will comes on your channel. And, I thought you were on tour this whole time. That's why I didn't hit
Okay.
you. And then when you hit me up like, hey, you want to talk about Voivod? I was like, oh, you're back from touring. Let's do this, man.
Totally, man. My
And
pleasure. It's a blast.
yeah, and we got to think of more things, more bands we should talk of. And
Sure, sure.
will be on my Thursday night live sometime in the future. We'll see when it all
Hey,
works.
have you gotten the Creatures of the Night with Vinnie Vincent on the cover yet?
No, that's the
I
but that,
got I got one on tour. Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Aren't those bootlegs from Brazil or something like that?
That's what it says. Like on the cover, it has a sticker that says 82 Brazil or 83 Brazilian tour. It's like, dude, this didn't come out fucking to promote the Brazilian tour. Fuck no.
No, no, that's something that Kiss never released.
No way. But I haven't opened it up yet. I'm not sure if I am gonna open it up. It wasn't cheap, dude. It wasn't cheap.
Oh, really? Where'd you get it?
Well, for my 50th birthday, I turned 50 on tour. My sister gave me some money and said, "Go buy yourself something on tour." So I went to a record store in Vegas called, oh, I should remember what it's called. It was such a cool fucking store, dude. My friend Sip lives there, and he recommended me to go to that store, and they were expecting me, and they were hella cool to me. But I bought it there along with the Japanese elder with the fucking makeup pictures on the cover, like
Oh,
the
that's right. Yes.
yeah, yeah, I got that too. That was $90, and the Creatures of the Night was like, I think it was like $60 or $65. It wasn't cheap, man, or something like that. I remember I spent almost all my birthday money on those two fucking records. But
So
do you have the Japanese elder?
no, no, I don't.
Okay, yeah,
I'm a big
and
good.
and that same day I went to the fucking Kiss miniature golf course and the Gene Simmons Museum. Dude, the
Yeah,
museum is fucking killer, dude. It has all these runaway props, dude. I love
really.
like it has the gun and the spider and all kinds of like 8x10 shots of them on the set, like him and Tom Selleck.
Oh, your audio went out. You hear me?
But I hear you, yeah.
Okay, your audio's back. It went out for a second.
Okay.
Are you a fan of the Elder?
Yeah, dude. Oh yeah. And the Japanese version is the proper song order.
Like the one that starts with fanfare?
Exactly. And then goes into Odyssey, or goes into I Am Just a Boy and then Odyssey. Yeah, 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 yeah. And the only thing that's different about it, and also another thing that's different, there's no escape from the island on the Japanese version.
Really?
Yeah. There's only 10 songs.
Oh, I love that song.
Me too, dude. That's a bummer it's not on there.
Wow. Did you get it right away when you first heard the Elder?
My brother did. and it was confusing as a motherfucker, dude. Like the first thing I was blown away was there was no pictures of them anywhere on the inner sleeve, on the gatefold. I was like, that's got to be a first, like no image of Kiss. What the fuck is that? And yeah, and then when we listened to it, I remember we were excited because the oath is heavy as fuck, and it was different. Obviously more progressive, and they're singing about swords and stuff, but the music was rocking, and I was like, okay. But then from there on out, the album just like was like, oh no, man. Like I wasn't into it for a couple of years. It's not until I got a little bit older, and I was like, all right, this is cool. And now I love it. I love it, dude. I think it's badass.
Me too, man. And oddly enough, I don't know why. See, I didn't hear The Elder till 1984, and when I did,
Oh, whoa, okay.
I used to take a bus. It took me 90 minutes to get to this great import store. That's where I got Raven and Venom and Merciful Fate, all the import stuff.
Right.
Across the street, there was a little mom and pop shop, and I went across the street in 1984. They had The Elder on cassette for $1. And
Holy shit.
I'll buy this and I'll listen to it on my way home because I had the Walkman. And I'm in the bus listening to this shit. And I was like, God, I don't know why, but I'm really liking this. It's weird. It's odd. It's not what I would expect from Kiss, but because I'm kind of like, I love the Blackout Alice Cooper period too.
Oh yeah, dude. Special Forces.
Yeah.
That's a ripper. That's a rocking album.
I love that Dada and, Flush.
Zipper Catches Skin.
Yeah. Good
Those
stuff.
are the three. Those are the three.
Even though The Elder doesn't sound like those, it's weird like those.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's probably why I got it on first listen. And, it took me 90 minutes to get home. So I listened to that tape twice on the way home. Like when it was over, I was like, man, let me listen to this again. I think it's a phenomenal album,
Totally.
And
Totally.
there's some people that just fucking hate it. That's like the brunt of the joke. But if you ask me, Crazy Nights is the worst.
Yeah. I don't know. I go back and forth between Hot in the Shade and Crazy Nights, man. I mean, at least on Crazy Nights they were committing to sucking. They were committed to suck. Hot in the Shade, it seems like they're actually trying to be hip or cool, and it's even worse when they're doing that, dude. It's like, oh god. Like, anyways, but speaking of Special Forces, Alice Cooper, another record I bought on tour was a Record Store Day live album from that tour.
Yes.
You have that?
No, I don't, but I know about it. It was a record store.
Really cool recording. I think it's recorded in like Scotland. I think it's live in Scotland. A really awesome set list. A lot of early '80s Alice Cooper. Tons of shit off of Flush of Fashion, and then 2 or 3 songs from Special Forces. And a few classics. But it's a great recording. A lot of energy. Good band on that tour. Killer drummer. I was pleasantly surprised by that. Because a lot of Record Store Day releases suck, I think. But this one was really cool, man. Really cool.
Oh yeah, the last one was terrible, man. It was like nothing I wanted.
Yeah.
I think it was like a Dio live album, but I didn't even bother going out. Yes.
Yeah, it's a Dio live album from the Last in Line tour, right?
I think it was Holy Diver. I could be wrong.
Or maybe it's Holy Diver. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's in California. It's live from like Fresno or something like that. Yeah.
I think it was a radio broadcast, I think.
Right. That's one of his earliest shows.
Yeah, I
with the Dio band.
Yeah, with Vivian. But I would have loved to get in that, but just like I'm saving a lot of money now, Will, because when they build my house and I move back to it, I'm making like a really cool studio with a big desk and red lights on the wall to make my videos look really interesting.
Okay.
So I've been saving a lot of money, so when I do move back, I can get like a big setup, because I see people online with really nice setups with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they ain't that good.
Hey, can I ask you, why do you have a poster for Gross Misconduct framed?
Believe it or not, Will, I am a huge mega fan of that album. You don't like that album?
I do like it, but I don't know if I'd frame the album cover. I mean, that's one of the dumbest album covers of all time.
Yeah. With the shark. But man, I love that album. Accident Scene, True
Yeah,
Colors.
that's cool. Satan's Cronies is a good
Yeah.
tune.
Black
Uh,
Black Knight.
yeah, and like the Fear cover is cool.
Yeah, I love Living in the
Uh,
City.
the last song is pretty cool. The Ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that album. I just never seen it. I've never seen it framed before. It looks so like adult.
Yeah. I think the it's just so rare to have a
Yeah,
Misconduct
definitely.
poster that I got from my friend that owned a record store. I said, "Hey, can I have that?" Because he never even put it up. And yeah, I figured I have a lot of posters that one I have that I'm not a fan of is but I still have it is Under the Influence from Overkill. I
Oh wow.
I don't know if you like that album. To me, that album was a little too silly. I love the first two, and Year Decay is my favorite. But I always, other than Shred and Head First, I think that album's a little too dopey for me.
Which one? Which album?
Under the Influence from Over.
Oh, Under the Influence. You know, I used to think the same way. Like I was never into Hello from the Gutter, and I thought the
Yeah,
video was kind of silly. I love when Beavis and Butthead made fun of that video. But over the years, I think that album fucking rips, man. I like the song Head First, yeah.
yeah,
That song is fucking awesome, dude.
love Head First.
Yeah, I enjoy that album now. The last song is killer, Overkill 3.
Yeah,
That's pretty fucking heavy, man. So I dig it, man. That's like their most thrashy album, I think. Like this, because the next album, Years of Decay, definitely a thrashy album too, but it's a little darker and maybe a little more riffier and slower. Under the Influence is the most upbeat, so I can see where you're going with it. It's kind of too light, maybe, or too happy, maybe. I don't know. Is that what you're trying to say? Like
yeah.
it's goofy, you said?
They were kind of doing Anthrax type
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah. I can hear that. I can hear
like
that.
like
But I love Anthrax. So
remember
uh,
remember the "Fuck You" song that they released.
of course.
It was like On the Man. It had the Bobcat Goldthwait where on
Eddie Murphy,
yeah On the Man
Eddie Murphy at the end. Yeah.
it was like two, and I love the "Fuck You" song. But I was like, why are you adding all these things? Because Anthrax did it,
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, I do dig Under the Influence, man. Fucking cool. Cool album.
I love the first two, and my favorite's Years of Decay. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Bobby lives down here, Gustafson.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why he quit violence, right? Because traveling back and forth was becoming
Yes,
too
yes.
difficult. Yeah.
It became like it was a financial situation.
Right. Right, right, right.
He couldn't keep doing it, but there a lot of good blood there. It wasn't a bad blood situation,
Totally.
but
I
man,
just saw I
yeah.
just saw violence like last weekend.
Oh yeah.
They played outdoors in Oakland. Uh, I've heard rumors that might be the last show, but I don't know about that. And I've heard multiple stories like that Sean still wants to do it, keep going, but I don't know. But they're a killer, dude. They're awesome. They had a new drummer, the guy from God damn it, I'm so stoned. I should know. It's like the band from L.A. Ex Mortis. God damn it, Adrian from Ex Mortis. Yeah, he did a great job. He did a killer job. And my friend Ira Black is playing lead guitar, taking Bobby Gustafson's spot. He was in Vicious Rumors with me, and he's been in hella bands. Lizzie Borden. He's currently in the band Bullet Boys. If you can believe one human being is in Violence and the Bullet Boys, that never would have flown in 1990. But they were killer, man. It was a great, great fucking show. Totally.
It's kind of sad what's happening, man. Like it's like bass player's gone. And I can deal without Rob Flynn, but man, getting rid of Perry, I'm sure the new drummer's awesome and all.
Yeah, I know it's a major blow though.
Yeah,
Losing Perry Strickland's a major blow. Totally.
yeah. So, and that's another band I traveled to Oakland to see Violence.
At the matinee show or the late show?
It was the matinee show.
I went to the late show the night before, and I had high. I was very ambitious to go to the matinee show, but I didn't wake up until they were already on stage when I woke up in my bed. I was so hungover, so I had to blow that one off. But I heard it was awesome.
Oh yeah, it was badass. And I also traveled for the reunion. I think I told you this, that you were supposed to play, I think, with Laz Rocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking bummer.
Did you
Totally.
end up going to that show though?
Oh yeah, I was there. Fuck
That
yeah.
shit was awesome, man.
Yeah, that was insane.
It was a
Insane.
one reunion after the other. You had Legacy with
You know, I can't. I mean, I wasn't expecting this, but dude, one of the best bands was Flotsam and Jetsam.
yes.
Dude, they kicked ass, dude. I was like, definitely the best time I've ever seen them, dude. I was like, whoa, they made a huge impression on me. I was a fan of them already, but I never saw them bust out like that. They were really, I mean, obviously they had something to prove. They're with all these Bay Area thrash legends, and they kicked ass, dude. They were killer.
I think
They played
yeah,
they played a lot of stuff off of
no
When the
place.
Storm Comes Down.
Yeah.
And I love that album. No one ever talks about that album, When the Storm Comes Down, but killer fucking record, I think.
I love that album. Master Sleeps.
Yeah, they played that song.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, dude, it was fucking. I was shocked. It was killer.
Scars. Yeah, I saw that tour way back in the day. And yeah, Flotsam, they weren't even scheduled to play it. I think they
They
played
took Lost Rocket's place. Yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
if you look at all the posters and T-shirts, they were already printed, so they all say Lost Rocket, and you never see any evidence of Flotsam and Jetsam ever playing, but they did, and they kicked ass, man. Killer,
I still have that shirt, man. I hardly ever wear it.
right?
What was weird
Right
about
on.
that show was there were two shirts they were selling, one for the event and a Death Angel shirt. It was, and I bought the Death Angel shirt too. It's just that
Really?
Death Angel was actually selling a shirt too,
Huh?
and it was just the logo, which must have been quick because Death Angel I don't think wanted to get together yet, or it was something.
They weren't.
Yeah, go ahead.
They weren't planning on continuing after that show, but then they started getting offers, and then they said, "Hey, maybe we should do this some more."
Yeah. Well, they were great too, and Violence
Oh yeah,
amazing,
oh yeah.
and Testament. I mean, not Testament.
Legacy,
Legacy.
yeah,
And that was one of the last Paul Baloff shows. I think
that's right.
I think he did.
That's right.
I think he died like maybe a month
He
later.
did. Yeah, he did two more shows. The second to last show he ever played, one of my bands supported him, and it was kind of like a secret. I guess it wasn't really secret, but they were playing this really tiny place in San Francisco called the Covered Wagon Saloon. It's not there anymore, unfortunately. There was a lot of legendary shows at this place, and every Tuesday night was a metal club called Lucifer's Hammer, and that club got really popular for a few years in like the late '90s, early 2000s. And Exodus decided to do like a kind of a hush hush show, but there were flyers for it. But anyways, they played, and I think Gary Holt selected my band, the Cutthroats Nine. We weren't metal, dude. We were like we sounded like the band Unsane. You know, you ever hear of Unsane?
No.
Uh, like Prong, kind of like, but a noisier Prong, kind of, or Helmet, but way noisier, kind of like that style. So, but they picked us for the show. I remember a lot of bands and a lot of people like, how the fuck did they get on the bill? Like, why are they playing all this shit? But they picked us, so we went over great. And I think the opening band was one of Matt Harvey's old thrash bands, Decapitator. Anyways, that was Baloff's second to last show. And I think his last show, I don't know where his last show was, but the show I played was the second to last show. And then I left on tour with Vicious Rumors. Shortly after that gig, we went to Europe. The tour was Savatage. And like within a week of that tour or a second week, he died. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, it sucked, man.
Yeah, I mean, they did come once to Florida on the live album with Baloff. Was it?
Yeah, it was Skin Lab, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and Paul performed on a stool because he broke his leg.
Yeah. Wait, what did he do to himself?
He broke his leg walking off,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
he performed the whole show on a stool. But
when they when they were in Florida, I heard a story. When they were in Florida on that tour, they went to Disneyland or Disney World, and he was in a wheelchair. And because he was in a wheelchair, whoever was pushing him got to the front of the line, like they had like a handicap line. And so all the guys in Exodus eventually, first no one wanted to push him. They're like, "Fuck that, man! I don't want to push him around. I want to go on rides and do shit." And then when they realized that that was happening, like all the guys in Exodus were arguing over who gets to push him.
oh man, it's too fun. The guy was a
Yeah.
character, though, man.
Oh yeah.
Did he do anything crazy when you opened for him? Did he do any insane things when you were ever around him?
Well, yeah, but he did something. They're all doing something pretty crazy backstage during that show. But I don't want to incriminate
Okay.
anybody. But yeah, they were partying. They were partying.
Yeah, when I interviewed Sean Killian, I told him, "You have any crazy Paul story?" He goes, "Yeah, there was a girl passed out at a party, and he put a dead rat in her mouth."
Oh man,
That's broke.
that's fucked.
That is fucked up. But
Here's a great story. He he sold the same pickup truck I think 3 times in one day. Like he had it for sale, and someone came to check it out and said they'd take it, and they gave him the money, but Paul said he had to like do a few things to, so come back later to pick it up. And then someone else came to check it out, and he took that person's money, and he told him to come back later.
oh man,
I'm not quite sure how that story ended, but I remember hearing some story about him selling the truck multiple times in one day. That's one of many, many stories I heard. Another story, a friend told me, like, I won't say who, but a friend told me, like, man, I didn't like Paul, man. I was like, what? Like, everyone loved him. Like, I never heard anyone say they didn't like Paul. He's like, man, he stabbed my cousin when he was asleep on the couch. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, he thought he ripped him off in a drug deal. So like he was asleep when he realized he got ripped off, and he just like went up and stabbed him. Another story I heard is he I don't know about the sewer rat in the girl's mouth. I heard that he brought a sewer rat to a party, like he had it trapped in a bag, and he let it loose in the party and just let it run amok inside the house. I didn't hear about the rat in the mouth though, but that's fucking crazy.
he was a character.
So
But man,
yeah.
haunted by blood, man.
Oh
Probably.
yeah. That live album is ripping too
Oh
though,
yeah,
man.
another lesson in
Uh,
life.
yeah, that's a great fucking album. And it's like Kiss Alive and Kiss Alive 2. A lot of it's not live, but who gives a fuck?
Uh, oh, so that's one of those not live albums.
I mean, I think the drums are live, but I don't know. But I've heard the people say that there was a lot of stuff re-recorded for it. But who cares? It sounds amazing.
Well, I always said I like fake live albums more than real live albums, man. Like
Yeah, man.
my favorite live album, Unleashed in the East, Kiss
Yep.
Alive, UFO, all that was mostly recorded in the studio.
Yeah, Strangers in the Night is doctored up pretty heavily, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've heard the raw recordings of that show, and it doesn't sound like the album in parts.
But yeah,
Well, all right, man.
so we will have you back. I look forward to we'll think of another band and go through their discography.
Totally.
It's always fun talking with you, Will, and I will send you little emails here and there. Hey, are you free this Thursday? This is what we're talking about, and you have an
Hey,
open.
do you know what this album is?
No, what is that?
This band called Dust. You ever heard
Yes,
of it?
that's with Marky Ramone, right?
No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Look at the drummer. That's Marky Ramone. Whatever his
Oh,
name.
you're right. It is Marky Ramone. Yes. I
Yeah.
just know of it because it's the two dudes that were produced the first two Kiss albums, and it's
Yes.
recorded at Bell Sound Studios. This is a ripping album, dude. I didn't
Great.
realize it's Marky Ramone on drums.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What was his name then? Marky what? Mark something?
It's Mark Bell.
Okay. Yeah, that's him. That's him on the drums. Yeah, and I know what is it, Kerner or something that recorded the first two Kiss albums? Or
No, it's just Richie Wise, just Richie Wise. It's Kerner and Wise in the first two Kiss albums,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah, so
Think so.
it's Richie Wise, and holy shit, I didn't realize that was Marky Ramone. Dude, he's going off on this album. Oh
Yeah,
man, dude, he's a smoking drummer, dude. Like you wouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying you'd never know from the Ramones, but this shows off his talent way more than the Ramones, dude. Like he's jamming and going off.
yeah. Because
Wow,
in the Ramones, they had him play like Tommy. You know, he had to change his drum style. He
of
talked
course.
about that, how difficult it was for him to learn those Ramon songs with the way he actually really plays. You know, there's a lot of
Yeah, this album was produced by Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise. So yeah, I got this on tour. I heard this a song off this album on Gimme Metal. Rest in peace, Gimme Metal. That sucked that went under.
yeah,
But I dug it, so I saw it at a store. I couldn't believe I found it, but it's a good album, dude, and killer album cover. I love the fucking album cover, man.
yeah. There's there's
uh,
there's so many obscure killer seven. You ever heard of a band called Blood Rock?
Blood Rock, yes, I have heard of them.
They're
Totally,
awesome. Early
totally, dude,
70s,
totally.
early 70s shit. And another band I know it's weird called Wild Butter. It's good stuff, man.
And I never heard of them. They're American.
Yeah, American band from the early 70s. Jody Grind is another one. I don't know if you
No,
heard
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's my friend called Lee Gertzman. He knows all those weird bands, and he turns me on to them, and I end up liking a lot of them. You know,
Huh?
good, good. Back then, acid rock.
Yeah, totally, totally. This is total acid rock, total jamming out. Like they're like a hyper blue cheer, like a more hyper blue cheer. And the funny thing is, this album sounds way better than the first two Kiss albums. It's like I can see they put all their TLC into this. It's their own band. It's their
Yeah,
studio, so they took their time. You know, like the drums sound killer. Like it's like wow, this is '72. It's like wow, man. Why is the first Kiss album sound like this?
yeah, right.
So and
Yeah,
they're only a three piece, you know. So yeah, yeah. Anyways, good talking to you, and
likewise,
uh, and until next time.
Smack 'em a gob, Will.
Smack him a gob.